So I want to talk a little bit about domestic violence restraining orders and child custody matters. So there's a lot of, in my experience, there's a lot of domestic violence restraining orders that are thrown around, especially when going through a custody dispute. Sometimes people use domestic violence restraining orders to gain leverage for custody. Unfortunately, there's actually some people who actually do need an actual restraining order, and there's actual danger, but there's others who know that if they're granted at least a temporary restraining order, they can keep the children away from the other parent for a bit of time, at least until the next hearing, and they won't be able to see the kids, talk to them, or exercise any visitation unless there's a temporary custody order that's granted, right? So in order to even avoid a whole domestic violence restraining order situation, you just want to make sure that you're being neutral with the other parent, you're being kind, you're speaking positively, you're focusing on the child and the best interest of that child. You don't want to be, arguing with the other parent. So if a situation becomes too tense, just leave, back out. It's not worth getting a restraining order against you and potentially losing custody over your children or having limited custody rights. I've seen this a lot. And so a lot of people don't know that the scope of abuse is kind of broad. It's not just physically hitting somebody. It could be threatening someone, blocking their movements, taking their car keys so they can't leave, taking their cell phone, threatening to get them fired from their job, threatening to get them deported, doing things that can intimidate them or put them in fear, a reasonable amount of fear. It can be stalking somebody, showing up at their house unannounced or in their neighborhood or whatever. Of course, you have to look at the surrounding circumstance, but that just goes to show you that there's a lot of things that can classify as domestic violence, right? And so some parents may try to set you up to file a restraining order against you, if that makes sense, right? So I've seen situations where one parent will try to provoke the other parent or get them frustrated so that they can run to the court and file a restraining order and say, hey, this person yelled at me, or they got in my face, or things like that. So I've seen a lot of that before. And so you just want to make sure that you're not falling into that trap, right? Some parents may try to get you to say stuff in writing or text messages, or to evoke some type of feelings out of you, to get you to call them numerous amount of times or leave a voicemail message. Do not leave threatening voicemail messages or text messages on the other parent's phone. You just want to keep the conversations neutral. If the other parent is talking crazy to you, if they're using derogatory language or anything like that, just don't respond. You don't have to respond to that. Refocus the conversation on the best interest, or refocus the conversation on the child, at him. And so, so you just want to avoid situations like that. People are recording, so they may try to get you in a situation where they can record you doing something, So you just want to be aware of that, because if you get a restraining order filed against you, or the restraining order is granted, that can impact your custody with your children. And so you don't want to go through that. So those are the things, a little bit of tips I wanted to share, given my experience and what I've seen. So if you need any help, or if you're in this situation, or if any of this sounds familiar, you can schedule a consultation with me if you're in the state of California. My website is in my bio, and I also have it at the end of this video. All right, thank you for listening.